Elizabeth and I need a boost. So we just got a home cell phone signal booster by WeBoost. Tiny house prepper.
Live simple, live free.
Hey everybody, I'm Bill with Tiny House Prepper, and this is Leo. Yeah, we needed a cell phone booster. You know, as far as our internet access, let me talk about that for a minute. As many of you know, hi guy. As many of you know, we travel a lot, and we plan to be traveling even a lot more, and we upload a lot of videos. So we're thinking ahead. And what are we going to do on the road to upload videos? And you know, I've seen a lot of other traveling type channels talk about sitting in Starbucks all day to get a signal to upload something, and we just didn't want to be tied to that. So basically we are now using our cell phone hotspot for our ability to upload, and then we also have a separate freestanding hotspot as well between both of our cell phones and our freestanding hotspot. We have 150 gigs a month, and that's plenty to upload the videos that we do. So then we realized, you know, it costs a lot of extra for all of that. So then we realized that we were actually paying double because we have the ability now with our cell phones to upload all of our videos, but we were still paying for the DSL internet service at home. So we went ahead and made the decision to cancel the DSL so that we're not paying double. So the cell phone actually works fairly well, but it's a lot slower. Typically we have if we're uploading a 20-minute video, typically if it's working well, it takes about 2 hours. It has taken us as long as about 8 hours or more sometimes if it's not working real well. And I don't know what the difference is, but the DSL took about half that amount of time. The cell phone signal that we have here at home, we have Sprint, and it varies between 1 and 2 bars of LTE. And the strength of the cell phone signal has a lot to do with how long it takes. So we decided that I was going to look into this, the WeBoost cell phone signal booster. They have several different models. We got the home model. They also have a model for an RV. I'm not really sure exactly what the difference is, except I'm guessing maybe it's the power source. So anyway, we got the home model, and we're going to hook it up here at home, which of course our travel trailer that we live in here doesn't move. It's permanently on our land. It doesn't move. So we're going to set it up here and see how it works, and if it really does work, if it really does boost our signal and boost our upload times, then we would probably also get another one for the RV so that we have it, you know, when we're out boondocking someplace. So anyway, here is the WeBoost cell phone booster that we've got. So let's see what we've got here. It was just delivered. I haven't even looked at it yet. Okay, it's well packaged, everything looks good, nothing's damaged or anything like that. I'm not even sure what all of these are yet. I know this is the inside antenna, outside antenna. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to have to read the directions. Imagine that, a man reading the directions. I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've read the manual and I immediately discovered two problems. Well, one problem and one surprise. Here's the first problem. This is my desk. Computer sits here. Our cell phone tower, the closest one, is about a mile from here, and it's right directly that way. So I was planning on putting the outside antenna on the outside of the wall right here, facing the the cell phone tower that I know is right there. And then I was going to put the inside antenna right here, so it would be very easy for my computer to pick it up. As I was reading the directions, it said that the outside antenna and the inside antenna must be separated by at least 50 feet horizontally or 20 feet vertically. 50 feet. This is an RV that we live in. It's 32 feet long. I can't even get far enough away unless I put some kind of a pole out there to mount the thing on. So that's a real problem. Also, it said that the outside antenna and the inside antenna should not face each other. So it also gave me some tools to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, so I was just thinking, I just told you that what I bought here was the home version. They also have another version for RVs. This thing, it has to be 50 feet apart. And like I said, our RV trailer there is only 32 feet. I don't know what they do with the RV version because very few RVs are 50 feet long. So I can't address that because I don't know the answer to that. It would be curious to find out. Anyway, so some of the tools that they gave me, they talked about an app called Open Signal. And they said that you can use this to identify where the cell tower is so that you can aim your outside antenna right directly at the cell tower. Now, this is the surprise that I got, because I know that our cell tower is that way, like I said, about a mile. So I should be able to basically screw the outside antenna right on the wall facing this way, and it should face right at the antenna. So I went ahead and downloaded Open Signal so that I can find exactly where that is. And here's the surprise. When I touch on Open Signal and hold it this way, I expect it to be right there. And now it's pointing to the left. It's not pointing straight ahead. I actually have to turn this way, and there's another cell tower over there. I didn't even know that was there. When I go back to where I thought the tower was, it's wrong. It's pointing that way. So that creates another problem, because if I have my inside antenna right here in this corner of the house, right there where my computer is and my desk, and then I don't know how to show this. So my computer is right here, and then if I go down to the other end that way and try to get as far as I can, 32 feet, then the outside antenna has to point that way for the tower. So it would be facing this way, and my inside antenna would be facing that way. So instead of being at least 50 feet apart and facing away from each other, they would be about 30 feet apart and facing toward each other. So what do I do? Oh, they also told me about another app called Cell Towers USA, which I downloaded, and you can actually plot on a map, and it shows you where each cell tower is in your area, and then it can even show you the satellite view. And I did see the tower there that I knew about, but I found another tower much closer it's that way, and it's on top of a little hill, and it's completely covered in a wooded hill. So I didn't even know it was there because it's behind the trees. I couldn't even see it. So that was very educational for me to know that my tower is not there. It's there. It's much closer than I thought it was. So I've actually done some measuring here, and like I said, my desk is there. The interior microphone will be right there, and if I go down to the other end of the trailer, the most I can get is about 30 feet. And it's facing the wrong direction. So then I started looking, what else can I do? Well, I have a shed here, and it doesn't look like it, but it's further. I measured from the corner of the trailer up to the far corner of the shed, and it's just over 40 feet. So that's not the 50 feet they recommended, but it's at least 40 feet. And that antenna will then face this way, and my interior antenna will face the other way. So that's going to work. The only issue is it's more work for me because that means I'm going to have to run the cable all the way down and then probably bury it under the ground there so I don't trip on it. So they actually have several different kinds of mounting brackets to fit different situations. This is the one that I'm going to use. I'm going to screw it directly to the eave up there like that, and then the antenna goes over here facing to the left, which is the direction that I want to go. Now I need to make sure I get the angle right. So this is actually going to go up top on the eave, but it's flush with, or parallel with this. So I want to check the angle using my open signal, and yeah, I can see it. You probably can't because of the reflection on the glass. But this tells me that the antenna would be facing this way, but the cell tower is actually kind of this way a little bit. So I'm going to have to bend this in just a little to make sure that it's pointing out in the right direction. So what I'm going to do here now is a real exact, precise, scientific method of adjusting this. It's not easy because of these things to keep it strong. I think that'll do it. Okay, so I got it bent some right here, but this is too far, so I'm going to have to bend it back a little. All right, like I said, a real exact, precise, scientific method. If I had a sheet metal bender, it would work much better, but I'm not going to go rent one of those for 50 bucks just so I can bend that a little bit. I think that'll work. Let me go check the angle. Okay, so I've had to adjust it several times, but I think I got it now. See the little white arrow right there? That points to the, right there, that points to the cell tower. And the angle looks pretty good to me. I think I'm good. So I now have the mounting bracket mounted onto the outside antenna. I took the blue covering off of there, the scratch resistant plastic covering. There's 4 screws in here. It's a little bit of a challenge to get these screwed in because of the way this bent over. I couldn't get the screwdriver in there very easily, but I got it done. So now I'm ready to mount this. So now you can see I've got it mounted up there on the corner with the appropriate angle so that it aims right at the cell tower. And then I've got the coaxial cable in there running down inside this corner piece. Comes out the bottom. I got to run this the rest of the way. I'm not going to bore you with that. It's just nailing up coaxial cable. Okay, so I got the cable coming down in the corner there, and then it runs underneath. Now there's just enough room for me to squeeze under there and staple it up underneath of the shed. But see the water there? We had rain last night that should have been part of Noah's flood. It was unbelievable. And now this is all completely saturated with water. So I'm going to have to wait a little while until it dries out so I can crawl underneath of there and do some stapling. Okay, so I got the cable pretty much run, though I still need to staple it up like I talked about. I'm about to go through here, through the wall. Now this is aluminum siding, and when I drill the hole and I put the cable through, I don't want the sharp edge of the aluminum siding to cut the cable. So I went down to the hardware store and I found this little rubber grommet. And there were several different sizes. I didn't know which one to get, but I found a size. This is bigger. The end is bigger than the cable itself. I found a size grommet that I was just able to stretch over. Get that in focus. I was just able to stretch this over the end of the larger end of the cable. And it fits a little loose here, but it's not bad. The main thing is not to make this watertight, but to use this to protect it, to protect the wire from the siding. Once I get that in there, then I can just put a little bit of caulk in here to make it watertight. So I think that's going to work well. Now I have my place measured from inside. I know exactly where I want it to be. I'm using the window here as my reference point. So it's 8 inches in from the end of the window, right there, and then 4 inches down from the sill. So it's going to be right there. I've already looked inside, cleared it all out, make sure there's nothing in there, no wires or anything that's going to be damaged by this. I'm going to move down just a hair more so I'm not on that little lip, so the grommet will sit squarely on there. Okay, let me just go inside, take a look and make sure that's where I actually want it. Okay, placement looks good. I'm about to put this through the hole, and this right here, there's a little groove there. See that? That groove is what sits on the siding. Okay, so that was absolutely perfect. This little rubber grommet will protect it, and then I'll just put a little bit of caulk in there to lock it in place. Okay, so here I am in the corner. This is my printer. Computer's right there. The cable comes in right here, and this is the booster. There are lights on the front. I don't know what they're for yet because I haven't plugged it in, but I'm sure I'm going to want to see them, so I'm not just going to lay it down there. I'm going to mount it up here on the wall where I can see it from the desk. Just one little screw. And then the cable that comes in from outside screws into the bottom of the booster. Whoops. Sorry, screws into the top of the booster. It was a different size fitting. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Now this is the wire that goes to the interior antenna, which I'll show you in a minute. It goes on there, on the bottom. Then this is the power supply, which plugs in there. Okay, so here's the booster screwed to the wall. I have a surge protected power strip right here, so now I just plug it in. All the lights are coming on. And they are all green. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm going to find out. So now for the test, let's see how this thing's going to work. Oh, let me show you about the interior antenna first. So for the interior antenna, the directions say that it has to be at least 18 inches away from the booster. So I got the booster over there on the wall and the wire runs back here. This is the interior antenna right here. And it's pointing out this way towards the living space. So that works quite well right there. Now let's test it. Okay, so I've tested it, but you're going to have to wait till the next video. This video is getting a little long. So I will have a whole video about testing it and about the results that I got in the very next video. But I will tell you, I'm very pleased. So to find out how this all comes out, watch the next video about the results, and if you enjoyed this, please like it and subscribe, and as always, you be blessed. See you next time.